This is Grandma Christine at Christine's Corner. Welcome back. Today I'm reading two books. The first one will be by Katherine Gibson. I've read 5 of her other books that she has written. It's Lilly Loves Books. The illustrator is Rebecca Phillips. She writes marvelous books. And the book is dedicated to her future grandbaby. May you always be whomever you chose to be, and always do what you love. Love you forever, Grandma. Today at school, Lily's teacher, Mrs. Suzanne, asked the class to think of something they love to do outside of school. It could be music, dance, or even a sport. Anything that they'd love to share in class. You may even bring in something to demonstrate your interest, said Mrs. Suzanne. Lily bounced in her seat. She had to sit on her hands to keep from clapping. She knew right away she wanted to share. Want to see a picture of Lily? This is Lily. After school, Lily ran up to her friends. Ryan, what is your favorite thing to do? She asked. Ryan rolled his eyes and pointed to the large team logo on the front of his shirt. Baseball, he said. Maria, what do you like to do? Lily asked. I knit, said Maria. I make scarves for my grandma and my mom. What about you, Lily? Lily smiled. Books. I love to read books. Books? That's not a hobby, said Ryan. Of course it is, Lily said. Books are fun. See you tomorrow. She waved goodbye. Here's Lily and Maria and her friend. Ryan. Lily couldn't wait to get home and look through her books. She dropped her backpack inside by the front door. Mom, I'm home, she shouted. Lily raced up the stairs and into her room. She gazed at the walls, which were lined with floor-to-ceiling bookshelves. It's so hard to choose. What books should I bring? Travel, history, or mystery? Lily couldn't decide. She began plucking books from the shelves. Lily sat on the bedroom floor with her books. Travel. You can go anywhere you want. History. You can learn about what happened long ago. And mystery. This can take you places to solve problems. There's Lily looking at her bookshelf, full of books. There are so many choices. Later that evening, Lily's mom walked in and saw that Lily had fallen asleep on the floor with her books all around her. The next morning, Lily's mom asked, Why were you sleeping on the floor with all of your books? Mrs. Suzanne said we can bring in something we love today, our hobby from outside of school. And I love books, said Lily. But I'm not sure which one to take. That's great, Lily, her mom replied. Let me help you. It was Lily falling asleep with a book in her arms. Mom started helping Lily sort through the books carefully, selecting a few. Lily nodded yes to some and shook her head no to others. After a few minutes, Mom said, Maybe start with telling your class how much you love books and the special places they can take you to and the people in the books that you can learn from. Remember that song we sang together when you were a little girl? When I pretend I'm a butterfly, I spread my wings and start to fly. When I pretend I'm a bunny or a bee, I'm as happy as can be. When I pretend I can be whom I choose to be. Mom, You're so funny. I've gotta go. I'm going to be late for school. She gathered her books, grabbed a piece of toast, and off she went. This is her mom and Lily reading, looking at which books they can read. Lily saw her friends and wanted to catch up with them and share her news about the books she had picked. But the bell rang and there wasn't enough time. She was a little late, so she sat in the back of the class. The day seemed to drag on forever. First they did math, then English, then geography. Then it was lunchtime. After lunch was gym class, then history. Finally, Mrs. Suzanne said, I hope everyone had a good time thinking about what to share with the class today. Let's begin the presentations. One by one, each student went in front of the class with her hobby. Maria talked about knitting and said she loved making scarves and gloves. Ryan spoke about baseball and how much he loved the game. And Andrew talked about collecting coins and stamps. This is Lily going to her classes in the hallway. She couldn't wait to go to the one that talked about her hobby. Class, please. Class, please, said Mrs. Suzanne. Let Lily finish. Oh, I seem to have skipped a page. I'm so happy that each of you today with different interests, said Mrs. Suzanne. Lily, it's your turn. Lily gathered her books and placed them on the desk in front of the class. I love books. I love the texture of books. I love the smell of books. A silent class erupted, and they all started laughing at her. I love books, Zach said. I love the smell of books, Bentel said, grabbing her history book and making a big show of sniffing it. Ew, it's disgusting. And they started laughing again. I love the texture of my geography book, said Terry. Lily saw that even her friends Maria and Ryan were laughing. She swallowed hard to keep from crying. Aw, poor Lily. There she is in front of the class talking about books. Class, please! Class, please, said Mrs. Suzanne. Let Lily finish. Lily looked down at the books in front of her and quietly mumbled, reading books takes you places you have never been. Books can help you decide who you would like to be. She slowly gathered her books. Then she walked to the back of the room and piled her books up on her desk, sliding down in her seat behind them. Class, Miss Suzanne said. Quiet, please. I love books, too. Books take you to places you've never been. And just as Lily said, they can also give you the imagination and tools to help you guide you to do what you want to do. Another thing you can learn from books, and also in the classroom, is that you should never make fun of or laugh at someone for having a different interest, style, or viewpoint than you. You need to be you and let them be them. Books come in many different styles, colors, and sizes, just like people. They're cool. Lily was still slumped behind her books, but she slowly lifted her head with a smile. This is Miss Suzanne, the teacher. Walking home, Lily didn't feel as bad as she thought she would. She thought to herself, Mrs. Suzanne is right. I love books, and books are cool. I don't care what others think. I need to be me. Just then, 2 kids from her class came running up behind her. Lily! Lily! They shouted. We love books too. Books are cool. One of the kids was named Carissa, and she was very shy and had never spoken to Lily before. We were afraid to say anything out loud because we didn't want to get teased, Carissa said. You are so brave. Yeah, said a boy named Tyler. You should join our book club. We meet every Monday in the library. Wow, that would be great, Lily replied. Then they all waved goodbye. Lily started humming the song that she sang with her mom when she was a little girl. Here she is, and there's her new friends. We're going to have her join a book club. Isn't that cool? When I pretend I'm a butterfly, I spread my wings and start to fly. Then Lily changed the words. Through reading the books I read, I can be whoever I choose to be. An astronaut, president, or amazing teacher. A scientist curing diseases, a veterinarian helping animals, or whatever I want to be. Books can help me learn to be the best that I can be. She's reading books and she can pretend she's an astronaut, a scientist. Isn't that cool? That's real cool. These are great pictures and illustrations in here. All the things cool when you read books. It's cool. Do you love to read? And what is your favorite topic? This is Catherine Gibson, and she has other books that she has done as well. Thank you, and we'll now read to you the next story. It's called Seeds and Weeds, a book about purpose, written by Tracy Lynn and illustrated by Pamela. Purpose is the intersection of your God-given talents and the needs of the world, by Reverend Sandra L. Fisher. Hi, my name is Gracie, and I'm going to Grandma's house today to help plant the vegetable garden. I have never planted anything before, but I love going to Grandma's. When I arrive, she greets me with a big hug and says, "Hello, Gracie. It's so good to see you. Thank you for coming over to help me plant the garden today. Are you ready to get started?" "Yes, Grandma, but I have never planted anything before. I'm not sure what to do." She says, "Don't worry, I'll show you exactly what you need to do. It will be fun." I followed her into the backyard, behind the garage, and through the gate, and into the vegetable garden. There's Grandma's house. How pretty? Yeah. The sun is shining and I can hear birds singing all around us. Grandma's cat, Penny, wanders over with her tail straight up in the air. I reach down and rub her soft orangey fur and she purrs loudly. That's the cat, right down in here. Grandma hands me a shovel and shows me how to turn the dirt over in the garden. We pull any weeds and throw them into a big basket, and then we use the hoe to make lines of neat rows. See here? It's quite a garden. Grandma hands me a package of seeds, and as we inch down the row, she makes a hole and I drop a couple of seeds in each one, placing the dirt bag back over the seeds, pressing down just a little bit. Here they are planting. As we plant the seeds, Grandma says that we have seeds in us, too, and these are special gifts from God. I stopped planting and looked over at Grandma confused. I have seeds in me? I have seeds in me. She is. Grandma smiles and says, Yes, it's all part of God's plan. God makes each person special by giving them their own unique set of skills and talents. God wants us to discover and grow these skills and talents and then use them to make our world a better place. You know how everyone is different? That's because there's a lot of pieces to God's plan. It's like a big puzzle, and each of us is a piece of the puzzle. You see, God uses ordinary people, like you and me, to do His work in the world. Can you imagine what it would be like if everyone used their God-given talents to make the world a better place? And she thinks, what would the world be like if everyone used their God-given talents to make the world a better place? Gracie thinks, I kind of like the idea of having special gifts in me from God, but I'm still not sure what she is talking about. We reach the end of the row, and as I stand up, I wonder what special gifts God has given Grandma. Maybe that would help me understand. Grandma, what are your special gifts? Well, she says, I learned early on in school that I had a gift for math and that it came very easy to me. I also learned that I was able to explain it to others in a way that they understood. So that's why I became a teacher. I spent my career helping children learn math. I was a teacher for 40 years. That's the grandma when she was a teacher. Great illustrations. And while God gave me the gift of being able to teach others, He did not give me the gift of patience. So that was a weed I had to pull. You had a weed in you? I asked, wondering where the weed had grown on my grandma. It's like, is this the weed coming from her? I don't know. Grandma laughs and says, weeds are the things that keep us from growing our seeds and doing God's work. So we have to pull them out. I would lose my patience and get frustrated with children who were very capable but wouldn't do their schoolwork. I had to get rid of my frustration and learn patience so that I could help them learn. Everyone learns differently, you know. There she is again. She's grading papers. She hands me the next set of seed packets, and we started planting another row. Grandma continues, explaining her seeds. And since I had the gift of being able to teach others, I signed up to teach Sunday school at our church. I really enjoyed teaching the children about God and Jesus. We would sing songs, make crafts, and play games. It was really fun. I did that for many years. This is her grandma teaching Sunday school. Then she explains, while it's important to grow your seeds and pull your weeds, you also need to make sure that you have good soil. Just like in the vegetable garden, you need to make sure that your soil is rich and fertile so that your seeds can grow to be strong and healthy. Now I'm really confused. We have soil in us too? That's her with soil all over her. Your soil is your character. It's the type of person you are. Are you an honest person, or are you someone who tells lies? A person with good soil is honest. Is that what Mom means when she tells me to make good choices? I asked. Yes, a person with good soil tries to do the right thing and makes good choices. A person with good soil is kind to all people, keeps joy in their hearts, and works for peace in the world. A person with good soil is always faithful to God. You see, continues Grandma, This is the type of person that God wants us to be. But God didn't make us perfect. He gave us faults or weeds. And while we are working hard to grow our seeds, we also need to pull our weeds and strive to have good soil. So we need to grow our seeds, pull our weeds, and have good soil? That's what she was thinking. What do you think, boys and girls? I think they're right. We finished another row of seeds and Grandma says we should take a break and have a drink. She opens the cooler by the side of the garage and pulls out a pitcher of lemonade and a couple of cups. We sit down in the shade and I gulp down half the glass. It is cold and sweet. Then she hands me a couple of my favorite oatmeal chocolate chip cookies from a tin. Yum! Grandma, what other gifts did God give you? Here's Grandma, her drinking and eating cookies. Grandma sips her lemonade and thinks for a moment, and then she says, God also gave me the gift of the green thumb. That means that I have an understanding of plants and how they like to grow. I look out across her big backyard and at the gardens that flow all around. They are filled with dots of brightly colored flowers. She sure does have a green thumb. So, how do you use that to do God's work? I asked. Grandma points to the vegetable garden. We grow lots of vegetables and can't possibly eat them all, so I give whatever we can to the food pantry here in town. They give the vegetables to families who don't have enough food to eat. I asked Grandma if I can go with her sometime to drop off the vegetables that I had helped to grow. She says that she would like that very much. That's now Grandma and her going to the food pantry. Grandma, what are my seeds? I asked, thinking she knows me so well, she probably has it all figured out already. She smiles and says, well, Gracie, you are a kind and giving person, spending your Saturday helping me with the garden. So we know you have good soil, but you need to discover your own seeds. What do you really enjoy doing? What comes easily to you? What are your passions about? Finding the answers to these questions will help to guide you. And here she's thinking, what does she really want to do? What am I passionate about? And what comes easily to her? And she continues, you must try everything or you might never discover a gift. Like your brother who plays such beautiful piano, and we never would have known if your mom hadn't accepted that old piano from the daycare. This is her brother playing the piano. I think I'm starting to catch on. Like how Mom makes quilts in the winter for the families in need. Is that one of Mom's gifts? Yes, said Grandma. Your mom has the gift of sewing and more than that. Each quilt is a beautiful work of art. That's them taking their quilts to the church. Her mom's quilts. I reached over and gave Grandma a big hug. I will do a good job of growing my seeds. Grandma gives me a little kiss on the cheek. I know you will do many wonderful things with your life, Gracie, and God will be very proud of you. Now let's get back to planting this garden. And we spend the day together growing seeds, pulling weeds, and tending to the soil. And that's Grandma and her giving each other a hug. Isn't that nice? This concludes both our books And I'll see you again next week. Thanks for tuning in and listening to our stories.